You could think of Bitcoin as a city in cyberspace. It is 256 blocks wide, 256 blocks long, and 256 blocks high. There will never be more than 21 million Bitcoins. Actually, there will never be more than 276 blocks. The cube root of 21 million is about 276. So, if you picture a city in cyberspace with 276 blocks on a cube, that is the supply of that object that will never change. It will stay that way for 1,000 years, or maybe even 10,000 years. And so, one day, everyone in the world will want to live there. Michael Saylor is a wealthy businessman and a strong supporter of Bitcoin. Since 2020, he has been the executive chairman of MicroStrategy, a business intelligence and mobile software company based in Virginia. Saylor has enthusiastically taught millions of people around the world about the unique benefits of Bitcoin compared to traditional asset classes since he started using Bitcoin in both his personal portfolio and the way his business works. Saylor has a background in aeronautics science and technology, which gives him a deep understanding of Bitcoin and lets him explain in a beautiful way why it is the best currency in the world. He often says that Bitcoin is like a virtual building because it is the foundation of a new way of doing business with money online. He thinks that this building will eventually cover a big part of the world's financial system. It will be unique because of its features, like Bitcoin's limited quantity of 21 million units, which protects it from the inflationary pressures that affect fiat currencies. Bitcoin is not like other assets because it can't be changed, lasts forever, and is wanted by everyone. Anyone with a simple cell phone can access it, regardless of where they are. There are 3 parts to money, which is how I like to think about it. It's possible to buy things with money, keep track of money, and store value. Currencies are forms of legal payments set by a country. In other words, the dollar is money in the US, the peso is money in Argentina, and the real is money in Brazil. There will always be a need for currencies because they are good ways to buy and sell things. Units of account are usually the best currencies that people use to work together in places where the government is strong. In Argentina, the US dollar is a unit of account, even though the peso is the main currency. This is how money splits. The part of money that has the longest half-life is its store of value. It's clear that people in Argentina don't use the peso as a way to store value. They could use the dollar for 10 years. But over the course of 100 years, say in Western Europe or the US, people would use property like real estate, trophy assets like a soccer team or football club, art, equity like Apple stock or the SP index, and they would own a diversified portfolio. Money itself splits into 3 parts. There are 150 or 120 different coins that can be used to buy things. About 6 units of account are important to real people. In the 21st century, Bitcoin is the best way to save money. And when I think about strength, I think about how long the money lasts. What I mean by half-life is how long will your money or energy last? The money has a half-life of 18 months if you take $1 million and use it to buy pesos. This is because of the 40% inflation rate. After 18 months, you'll lose half of the money. After 3 years, you'll lose the other half. In 4.5 years, you'll have lost 12% of your money. Because money grows at a rate of about 7% per year, your economic energy in the dollar has a half-life about 10 years. In 10 years, the $1 million would be worth half that much. In 1930, an acre of land in Miami Beach was worth $10,000 if you look at real estate there. It's worth $10 million now. In other words, it costs 1,000 times as much. That means the rate of inflation for money is 7.5% if you do the math quickly. In other words, your money has had a half-life of 10 years in US dollars over the last 100 years. You are cut in half every 10 years. Even though it doesn't sound bad, that's only 0.1% of your money left after 100 years. The dollar doesn't really keep its value well. How about gold? It takes 30 years for gold to lose half of its value. In the best case, you double the amount of gold every 30 years. What about real estate? The question is, can you pay the tax? Since you can pay the tax, land will keep going up in value if you can buy it. It will keep track of that money. Bitcoin has the same value as a house on the beach in South Beach. There are only 96 blocks. That's the most beachfront that the government can build. That's why it goes up by 1,000 times. First, don't put your money into investments. Spend your time. Spend 100 hours. Spend 10 hours first. Read the Bitcoin rules. Go take a class. Check out some of the movies. Start to learn it. Try to work for 100 hours. For the rest of their lives, everyone works 100 hours every 2 or 3 weeks to make money. You might as well work 100 hours to keep the money you earned 40,000 hours over the course of your life. Put money into it. then I would say that once you look into it, you'll see that it's off by 15 gigawatts of power. That's 15 nuclear power plants. That's a great deal of power. That's all the power the US Navy needs. Think about how strong the US Navy is. After that, you'll see that it's backed by 600 exahash. That's all the computer power that Microsoft, Google, and Amazon have. You may not know how many data centers Apple, Google, or Microsoft have, but you do know that these companies are very important. Now, let me show you a network that is stronger than theirs. You'll agree that that is very real. You look into all the businesses that have backed it. Block, Fidelity, Coinbase, MicroStrategy, and BlackRock are more than one company. You can see that hundreds of millions of people, thousands of businesses, gigawatts of electricity, tens of billions of dollars worth of data centers, and hundreds of billions of dollars have been invested in this network when you look at all the groups that are supporting it. And there's one thing that everyone shares. They believe in digital money and digital wealth. There is $900 trillion worth of cash and wealth in the world. In that place, most of that money is saved for when you need it. You have to choose whether to put your big chunk of cash in the bank, the stock market, real estate, or buy debt if I give it to you. All of them have risk. Bitcoin is like a bank and internet that is run by software that can't be changed. People who don't want to run their own hedge fund can use it. You shouldn't have to risk your money on a stock in order to keep it. Why should you believe a bank? Do you trust your bank? What about the bank in Lebanon that took everyone's money, frozen it, and then made it worth less? In a war zone, which bank should you trust? When the value of the dollar drops, which bank do you trust? The world needs a bank it can believe in. It needs a property that can't be taken by the government, a business, or a person. Bitcoin is that bank in online that gives 8 billion people the right to own property. Still, you use an iPhone so you don't know it yet. How does it work? Where does the music come from? Where do YouTube movies come from? Okay, the world is becoming more digital. I guess I'd also say this. Beethoven used to be a thing that only kings could hear. Then it didn't take long before you could buy a Beethoven record and listen to him. After a while, you could get a free app for your phone that lets you listen to Beethoven. It became very cheap. Music, schooling, books, and storefronts are all being changed by digital technology. The world changed because of them. In other words, this is how money, wealth, and property are changing in the digital world. Okay, you need digital music if you want to share songs with 1 billion people. You need digital capital to make 1 billion people rich. You're not going to give money and rights to property. Without digital wealth, you can't make sure that everyone on Earth has a safe way to live.